This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
It's that time. It's the Halftime Show on Pulse 95 Radio. Shout out to everyone who is tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, pulse95radio.com, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority, or if you're jamming at home watching us live on YouTube. Special episode today because we have a superstar in the building. And yes, that superstar happens to be Maria Khan, the national team captain of Pakistan, and also my wife, and she's going to be here on the show on Pulse 95 Radio. So make sure you get questions in because this one is going to be a special one on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
It sure is a special show today because we are here live on Pulse 95 Radio on the Halftime Show with myself, Omar Adori. But you know, we know why you're tuned in. You ain't tuned in for me. You tuned in for the superstar, the lady herself, Maria Khan, who is here live in the studio. What's up, Maria?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good.
See, before we came on, she was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna ask you questions. I'm gonna grill you, etc. Well, listen. You in my studio right now, and I am so happy you're here. The questions have been flying in already, by the way. A lot of people super excited to see you've got some big news you want to share with us on the show as well today. But first, I just want to ask you how you're doing. How was this whirlwind of success and progression and development been for you?
Yeah, I think it's, I think the saying that when it hits you, it hits you, and it hits hard. And I think for me, the biggest lesson in all of this is it's really just showed me that if you stay true to what you're passionate about, and if you just put your head down, stay consistent, and do the work, everything's gonna fall into place. Because I remember in April when I got injured, I got some news work-wise, and I was like, oh man, everything's going south. But again, subhanallah, like things happen how they're supposed to, and I think I'm really starting to believe that, right? I think it always used to be kind of just a saying for me, but I think recently it's something that I really genuinely do believe is that everything happens for a reason and it happens how it's supposed to.
Absolutely. And amongst these big changes, you've got some big news and something that's coming up quite exciting for you and for the family. Why are you laughing? Go ahead. Finish your question.
Finish your question.
So this big news is not only big for your family, but it's also big for your professional football career.
Yeah.
Care to share it with us?
Yeah, so I've been waiting for this moment, and I shared it with you the other day. I was like, so when LeBron was about to announce his move to the Miami Heat,
yeah,
he's like, I'm taking my talents to Saudi Arabia.
Amazing. How
Not
does that
South
feel?
Beach, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. We'll take that.
Yeah.
The man, to be specific. No, we'll take that. That's a big move. Obviously, a lot has been put into this. I can tell you that firsthand. Yeah. Where are you going?
So I will be playing in the Saudi Women's Premier League in the upcoming season with Eastern Flames, which is actually the oldest standing women's football team in the kingdom. They began in 2006.
Nice.
Right? And they're actually one of the few clubs in the Women's Premier League that have been able to stay private while all the other clubs or all the other women's semi-professional or amateur teams were acquired by your big names like El Nasser, El Hilal, etc. So again, I'm really excited for not just being able to play there, but also representing a club that is able to still stay true to its roots, has a female president, which is really amazing. And I think the culture that they have within the club is really something that aligns with what I believe in the development of women's sports.
And you've been involved, obviously, in the development of women's sports in the region, but also your journey started in the US. So you've been in the game for a while now.
What you trying to say?
I'm trying to say that you're an
What you trying to
experienced
say?
I think we might just switch seats now. For those that don't know, you've put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of dedication to reach that. It didn't happen overnight, despite the amazing things that's happening in Saudi. Me being half Saudi, I can tell you that. But the fact that you've been doing this for a while, how rewarding is it to finally find yourself at the stage you're at now?
Yeah, no, like in all seriousness, all jokes aside, you know, even with my age, I genuinely believe in my heart that I haven't peaked as an athlete. And I'm 32.
Yeah.
Right? And I genuinely do believe that, you know, to put myself in a competitive environment, you know, like I'm really excited to see where I can go and what I can contribute, not only to, you know, the team that I'm going to play with, but again, the doors that can open up for other athletes in the region and, you know, Pakistanis, South Asians, you know, Arab females in this region as well. Like, so, and again, regardless of the age, because like I said, I think, yes, with the age, you might need a little longer to warm up or whatever, but I think the experience that I have and also knowing my body and what my body needs, you know, nutrition wise, activity wise, load wise, I think is something that like I'm really excited about, because now I get to take those learnings and put it into, you know, a team and share that knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely. We got some questions here flying in from Florin, who's tuned in from the US. He's like, oh my God, that's awesome. We like this. We like this a lot, Mrs. Al-Duri. Masoud is saying, what's something new you would learn if Omar is your coach?
Well, you know what? I was actually just having this conversation with Omar's barber earlier today, and I think Omar is probably one of the only coaches that I know that can take a goalkeeper and make them a holding midfielder. So I think if that doesn't tell you all you need to know about Omar as a coach, and I promise you guys, I'm not hyping him just because I'm married to him, but he is very, very good at what he does, and I'm very grateful to have learned off of him and continue to learn off of him.
I appreciate that. Rania, our very own Rania Sahdi. Question for Maria. Do you coach Omar or does he coach you?
Well, the thing is, I don't have patience to coach, so the patience Omar was gifted with, so it's all him.
I attribute that to my mama. Also, questions here coming in. We missed you in the World Cup. Do you think Pakistan will qualify for the next World Cup?
So, you know, I think that's a question that not only me, but other players in the team, in the national team, have been receiving. And, you know, I think it's every young girl's dream to play in the World Cup and represent their country, because for women at the moment, that is the highest level of football in the world for women and for girls. So again, is it a dream? Of course, absolutely. I think that we have a lot of work to do to be able to get there, and I think it starts with making our presence known in South Asia, in the region, and being able to, like, for example, we have the South Asia Football Federation tournament, which I believe happens, if not every year, every 2 years, I believe. And, you know, it starts with, can we win that? Right? And then once we win that, and once we, you know, because there are very good teams in South Asia, right? You have India, you have Bangladesh, you have Nepal, which for women's football are amazing sides, right? So again, if we're able to slowly start to put the building blocks in place, reach certain milestones, again, I don't see why it can't happen. And we're seeing it in the Women's World Cup, right? That's happening now. The bridge in women's football has gotten smaller, where, you know, right now, the 4 teams that are currently in the World Cup, none of them have ever won a World Cup, right? The last one standing were Japan, and they just got knocked out. So again, you can see the shift in women's football. It's there. One
more question before we take a break. Fatima is asking, when did you start playing football, at what age?
Yeah, I started playing at the age of 6.
Okay.
6 or 7,
Okay, amazing. So, Ala is saying, so cool, best episode. Rashid's got fire emojis. Masoud is saying, that's what we all want to hear. Perfect. The comments are flying in here, but we're going to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back more from the national team captain and New Eastern Flames superstar, Maria Khan.
This is the halftime show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time. It's the halftime show with Omar Adori. If you're kicking yourself for missing the show, don't worry. You can catch all of our episodes on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, or if you prefer a visual, head over to our YouTube channel, Pulse 95 Radio, and we are there. And not only are we there with the lovely, wonderful Maria Khan, who is joining us in the studio. She's taking over already by asking questions and peeping on the Instagram live at Omar Alduri to see what questions are coming her way, which is what we're going to start with. Nice try, Missy. Which is what we're going to start with first. So Florence asking, with your move to Saudi, how will that affect your home life?
So for those that don't know, I am very fortunate and very blessed with a partner that is more crazy about football than I am. So
Facts.
he gets it, right? And I think him being my biggest fan and biggest supporter has really made this journey, not just with my move to Saudi, but the time I've spent away on national team duty, the hours that I'm gone in a day training or playing football or being involved in helping grow football. He gets it, right? And I think that's what's made me be able to progress in my football career, is having somebody that understands and appreciates the work that's being done and supporting it and being the one to tell me, like, no, this is your time, go for it. Because I remember the first conversation we had when this, opportunity came up, right? First thing I did was come to you and I was like, hey, what do you think? And without you even thinking, you were just like, yes, right? Like, this is your time. This is your opportunity. Take it. So I think, thank you, right? Because it really, honestly, it has made this journey so much more special because I'm able to focus on football with your support. Yeah. So yeah, it's really powerful. It's really helpful. So to answer your question, Florin, we good.
Yeah. Okay.
We good.
Okay. Great answer. Rashid, which is one of your old colleagues, has sent a message saying, what is the one advice that Omar gave you and that you will never forget?
Oof. Oh, there have been so many golden nuggets. But I think for me, it's... Oh, I'm trying to think of... I think it's it's again, as cliche as someone might take it, it's, again, just being consistent, right? And showing up, right? And whether that's showing up to training, showing up for your family, showing up for your friends, it's just about being reliable. I think that's probably one of the most, important things that you've taught me is the ability to be a person and an athlete that your coaches, your family, your friends that can rely on. Yeah. And it comes down to, things that will then filter into, how are you a teammate, right? Do you show up on time? Are you consistent? So I think that's something that, has not only, trickled into my football, it's also trickled into, my personal life and the relationships that I have is, are you that person that I can call on when I need you, right? Are you going to be that person that I can pick up the phone and I know you're going to pick up knowing I need you? So, yeah, just being reliable both on and off the pitch.
Yeah, and I think your teammates will definitely feel that, I think, in terms of how much you've grown and also that they want to be on your team, or even they want to play against you to be better. So you have both aspects of being someone that's present, but also someone that's being kind to them in the best possible manner. So I think that's great. Sorry for those that sent some questions in. The Instagram live went off and it's back on now. I'll ask you a question, Maria. How has this last year been for you?
Honestly, it's been something so unexpected. Because for me, I think, again, we have these conversations and these touch points all the time where it's like, if you look back on it, I really haven't done anything different in this past year, like preparation-wise, training-wise, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That I've done previously, right? Like, I've always been involved in football. I've always been, playing. I've always been active in this space. And so I think just it came to a point where I was at a crossroad and I had to make a choice. And I think making the harder choice, which was the unpopular choice, it wasn't the conventional choice, but having to make that decision, and it was a hard decision, I think that was a very pivotal moment in what's happened in the past year, right? And it's a cause of that choice, right? So I think making that choice, again, very hard, but everything, again, subhanallah, happens how it's supposed to.
I think it's important also to elaborate on that, you know, for those that don't know and are wondering, you obviously reside in the UAE and you've dedicated a lot of time to being present with the UAE national team and trying to help as much as you can, but also what they've given you as well.
Absolutely.
And you were in a situation where you had to pick between UAE and Pakistan, and we had that conversation ourselves. And again, with everything that's happened, the UAE still appreciate and value what you've done, and you've been good at still helping, still trying to contribute in any way that you can possible. But at the same time, I think with your family legacy and what they stand for, shout out to Sub, Abu, Aisha, Tawfiq, I'm going to try not to forget the names from that side, Shahina as well. Did I forget anyone else? No, and all the Khan family, right? And also my mom as well.
Of course.
Yes,
Toots.
yes.
Can't forget about Toots.
For being the examples, right, for us to kind of bridge in the gaps that they've set, and they've set pillar stones for us, right? So for you to be able to make that decision was very difficult, and hats off to you, because I'm going to have several caps today. So I'm going to take off one cap now, which is the host, and I'm going to put on the coach, and I'm going to say that the response your teammates give you has been exceptional, especially the younger lot, right? And that means the world to them and what you've done. And so on behalf of them, we're very, very grateful for the person you are that makes that influence for them to be able to flourish in their own right and their own respect. And so I'll take my coach hat off now, put my host hat before you get emotional, because I can see it.
No.
I can see it on your face. So thank you for that. And that was just kind of bridging in what she meant by that really tough decision. And right now, you know, I think the support from the UAE and the support from, you know, this side of the world, let alone the US, the UK, everyone has been exceptional. And so just for that, we're grateful for that. We're going to take a quick break as Maria gets herself back on track. And when we get back into it, we're going to have more on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95.
This is the halftime show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time, and we're having a good time here on the halftime show. We're going to take a little break just to get ourselves back on track. You know, we don't often show emotion here on the show, but she's back on track and she's on fire. Maria Khan is here in the studio, the Pakistan national team captain and also the new Eastern Flames player who will be joining the Saudi League very, very soon. Can't wait to come out and support you. And I think the whole team here has said they're going to come out and support you as well. So let's hold them to it. But I will be there, like I was when you scored that goal against Saudi.
You were.
I was.
Forgot. Yeah.
I was. Yeah. I was the only one celebrating in that corner.
Yeah.
By myself. Masood is asking a question. Masood is one of our regulars from India, and he's asking, how do you reset and how important is it for you?
Yeah. So again, I know there's tons of different ways to reset, but I think for me, the one way that really just helps me is spending time with family. Because in our careers and in our lives, we come across a lot of different people, and we're always around people, essentially. But I think me being able to be around my family, it's just a good way for me to reset, because it's always very humbling. My family have a way of, you know, just saying it like it is, and, you know, really putting me in check, and just kind of bringing me back down to reality. So I think for me, it's really important to kind of have that type of grounding and just making sure that, your head stays down and you always remember what got you to where you are, right? Which is hard work, dedication, commitment, and just humility and also vulnerability. That's something that I have found that actually really kind of has helped in this journey, is just the ability to kind of just be vulnerable and just be honest. So again, family does do a really good job of keeping me, grounded and just keeping my mind on track and keeping it focused on where it needs to be.
Question here, from goalkeeper to a super midfielder, what made you want to play as a midfielder?
I'll be honest, and this is where those vulnerable moments come out, but after I'd finished my playing at the Division I level in the U.S. For University of Denver, I had put on a lot of weight, and having moved to the UAE, nobody knew me, right? Nobody knew I was a goalkeeper. So for me, it was just a way to kind of stay active, right? Nice. And just being able to move around and get back to just feeling good, right? It wasn't about losing weight at that point. It was just about feeling good and comfortable and within your own skin. So yeah it just kind of happened, and then it kind of stuck all throughout my university playing and playing in the U.S. Even when I was a goalkeeper, I would always love the rondos that we would play in the first half hour we'd get to spend with the field players, playing small-sided games. It was something I always really enjoyed, so I always took advantage of it. And then, fast forward, 15 odd years, here I am playing a holding midfielder role.
Yeah, the number 6.
Yeah. Wonder who I got that from.
Was Maria forced to support Arsenal? If it wasn't Arsenal, who would you support? And you don't have to answer that.
I was going to say, I'm just going to get going here.
Smart.
I'm just going to get
idea.
going.
Good idea. And then we also have a question here. Can we expect to see you play as a striker?
Listen, whatever the team needs and whatever the coach needs, it can go from being a striker to a goalkeeper to, if that game doesn't need me and I need to, be sidelined. You had a good way of doing that, humbling me with that experience.
Do you want to tell the listeners what happened?
How about you tell the listeners what happened? How about you tell them?
Before, when I used to be involved in women's football, which I'm not anymore, I was coaching this team, which Maria joined, and Maria was obviously a very, very talented player, and she didn't like the fact that I subbed her off in the game that wasn't working for us, if it's fair to say. The game was not going our way. Obviously, the opponent was very strong, and we needed something different, and it was a big risk. I'm not going to lie. It was a big risk taking off one of your main players, and I did. I took her off, and she wasn't happy, and she showed a sign of frustration. Is that fair to say? And
it's a nice way of saying it.
Yeah.
It's a real nice way of saying it.
I took off my host hat, I took off my husband hat, and I kept my coach's hat on. And you want to tell them what happened?
Yeah, the person that he brought on ended up scoring the game winner.
Yeah.
So this is when I go back to, the comment I made about, just being humbled, but also just being able to put the team before yourself, right? I think that's something, when one of the earlier questions about, what you've taught me, and one of the key lessons you've taught me, it's the ability to put the team before yourself. Yeah. Right? I think that's really important.
And to be fair, I will give her a compliment about that situation. Even though the person that came on for her scored the winner, she did come over to me, give me a little 5 and say, "Good job." Is that right?
It is.
Yes. Yeah. She said that to me, and it takes a lot, by the way, for someone to admit that. So I will throw that.
Yeah, that was my way of saying sorry without saying sorry. But yeah.
Again, I didn't want to say it, but yeah. Layla's got a great question here. What would you tell your younger self with what you've achieved today?
Oh, man.
It's a great question.
I would tell her to be confident. Little Maria was very insecure, and I still have, some insecurities, and I still have those moments, but the most important thing I would tell her is to believe, right, that you belong and you are good enough, as a person, as a player. So I think it'd be that confidence, and just encourage her to be confident.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't at all.
Excellent. Some people will be shocked to hear that from you, actually. Let's take a quick break. We've got one more segment coming up before the prayer, and we're going to have that last segment for your questions as well. The questions have been fantastic, so shout out to everyone who's thrown them our way. Let's take a break.
This is the halftime show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time, and you know we're having a good time here on the halftime show. Can't stop smiling because of the questions that have been flying in from you guys. And you know what? I always say this show is definitely your show, and you know that is when I changed my last segment to a fire round, because apparently majority, which is my Instagram live, said, you know, Omar, give her a fire round. So when the majority give me the thumbs up, that's what we're going to do. So Maria, you have no choice. You're going to be doing a fire round. That's what happens when you have your own show. Okay, right. So from the first one, we're going to try and be good here. Okay. Ronaldo or Messi?
Neither.
Okay. You're going to give me a name at least?
Yeah.
Go on.
You guys are going to kill me.
Go on.
You already know who I'm going to say.
Go on. Say it.
Company.
Oh, my God. Okay. Chai or coffee?
Oh, the Pakistani in me is going to murder me. Coffee.
Women's World Cup, Australia or England?
Oh, I love an underdog story. Yeah. But I like England. I fancy England. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Anita.
Fried chicken or burgers?
Fried chicken all day.
Fried chicken all day. Okay. Who are you supporting in the Women's World Cup?
Well, now,
Yeah.
Australia.
Okay.
Just kidding, England.
All right.
Just kidding. I don't know. Just good football.
Okay. Who's your favorite midfielder, and who do you think you play like?
Well, I'm going to go back in the day when Omar first met me. And I think it's really stuck with me in his story and his journey. Granit Xhaka.
Okay. Goal or assist?
Assist.
Okay. Free kicks or corners?
Free kicks.
Who's your favorite football coach?
No gas. I'm going to plead the fifth on this one.
Okay. Dior or LV?
Oh, Dior.
Nuruddin, do Puma tops do extra medium? Asking for a friend.
Oh my God. Yeah, he was like, just by the way, me and Omar are extra medium.
Yeah. He's off. He's terrible. We love him. J. Cole or Kendrick?
J. Cole.
Audiobook or textbook?
Oh, your girl don't do neither.
Who won between you and last season's fantasy football? That's an easy one, that one.
Nah, I didn't even enter because I wanted to let you win.
I will screenshot the proof that she started last season.
I did not start last season. The season before that, I started and I stopped because I'm like, no, I don't want to do Omar like that.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Favorite zodiac sign?
Me, Taurus.
Okay.
Not you're a Taurus. You're a Taurus. I'm a Scorpio.
Wow.
Sorry, I meant Taurus.
Okay, that's all right. Everything goes here. Football or futsal?
Football.
Okay, the questions are still coming in, but before. Oh my God.
Taurus.
She is. I swear.
Y'all gonna get me in trouble here.
Who's winning the Premier League?
Come on, Arsenal.
All right, I love that. Volley or free kick?
Oh, I love a good volley.
Yeah, but more than a free kick.
Yeah, when that volley hits your foot, when it leaves your foot.
Yeah.
When you strike it perfect, that
Yeah.
feeling, yeah, volley.
Facts.
Volley, yeah.
Ever got a red card?
Ooh,
Have you ever got a red card?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's got bare yellows though.
I got hella yellows for the stupidest things. I got hella yellows.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever gotten a red. Yeah, I can't remember ever getting
Long
a
may
red.
that continue.
Yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay, so before we wrap up the show, so I said coming into the show that I was going to have 3 hats on. I was going to have a host,
Yeah.
I was going to have a coach, and I was going to have a husband.
Yeah.
So as it's only fair that you're here, I wanted to thank you on behalf of all 3. And the first one I want to thank you is thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure to interview you. This time it means more because of all the amazing things you've done. As a coach, she's going to get emotional now.
I'm giving you the look.
Yeah,
oh
she's
my
giving me the
God.
look. As a coach, nothing gives me more pride than to see you develop in the way you have. And this is just the start. What the Saudi League and what the world is going to see is going to be phenomenal. And as a husband, I love you. I'm so proud of you. And I can't wait for our future kids, inshallah, to see all the accolades their mommy has achieved. And you have 15 seconds for the prayer.
Thank you for having me on the show. Thank you for being an amazing coach. And thank you for being an even better husband.
Couldn't have said any better. That's full time on the halftime show. The Asr prayer is coming up.